It's the Hoops Outsiders podcast. It's VT back at you. And let's get back into this hoops talk. There's been a lot going down. And before the break, I did say I was going to tell you about some new rule changes that are going to be effective in the upcoming NBA season. 30 days. 30 days until opening tip-off night, October the 22nd. But some of the rule changes has been around league tampering. What I like to call is just meddling in people's business. You know how the old people used to say, stop meddling in your folks' business. Mind your business, huh? What the league said, I think minding your own business has kind of went a little bad, you know. So they're going to stick their nose in a lot of the teams' affairs to stop all of the tampering. Especially when players and teams was announcing deals between players this summer before teams are permitted to actually make calls and make arrangements with players' agents. So something had to be done about that because if you're following the rules and other people are breaking them, that puts you at a disadvantage. So yesterday, the NBA's Commissioner Adam Silver and the League Board of Governors, they voted on some new changes that 75% of the teams voted for. That's 23 out of the 30 NBA teams. And among them new changes to prevent tampering, and I'm not going to say prevent tampering, but to try to reduce it as much as possible, involve the annual random auditing of 5 teams' communications with the rival front offices and player agents, along with the league having the mandate that it can undertake more in-depth investigations where cause exists, increasing the maximum fine amount to $10 million, up from $6 million, and top team officials are required to save communications with agents for 1 year. I don't know what I think about those rules, and I don't think those rules will actually even do much. But it's a step in the right direction. And depending on what happens going forward, and if a team is caught and how it's enforced, that may make a difference. But as of right now, I don't know if this is going to make a difference or a significant difference, because I mean, saving communication for up to a year, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could delete emails, use burner phones. And if this are top team officials, well, have the janitor make the calls or make the contacts. I mean, there's ways around it. So I don't know how that will stop anything. And honestly, I don't even know if the NBA want to actually go down this road. Because if you go down this road and things are found out about a particular team that are egregious and beyond what you would want known about a league team, that could be bad. And all it takes is one team to expose anything like what happened with Donald Sterling, and the whole league has a black mark on it, similar to the way I feel the whole NFL has a black mark on it for what has happened to Colin Kaepernick. So I just hope this whole talk of how this need to change make teams govern themselves and to try to be fair, you know. And I was reading also that teams felt like the automatic loss of a draft pick, if that would have been included as a mandatory punishment, then that definitely would help with teams abiding by the rules when it comes to not tampering. All right, now let's get to what's going to affect the on-court product. I mean, what we just talked about is off-court things, but it eventually will translate to on-court, depending on, for example, Kawhi Leonard is now in Los Angeles, and those deals were supposedly done before free agency started. I don't think the Kawhi deal was, but Kevin Durant and the Kyrie Irving and several other deals were. I mean, it was popping up on your Twitter timeline, Facebook, Instagram, before teams could even talk to players that may be interested in signing with their team. All right, so let's talk about the traveling. We've all seen the traveling memes on social media that has dogged the NBA. I mean, LeBron to several players grabs the ball, especially when the ball is being inbounded after a made basket, grabs the ball, turns up the court, takes 3-4 steps, then dribble. And of course, now with so much editing software, people has it where he clearly gets the ball in the back court and walks past. I literally walk past half court before he takes a dribble, and the refs sitting there watching him, and never blows a whistle for a traveling violation. All right, so the NBA has included a definition for the word gather, and this is what the definition for gather means. It's two parts to this. For a player who receives a pass or gains possession of a loose ball, the gather is defined as the point where the player gains enough control of the ball to hold it, change hands, pass, shoot, or cradle it against the body. Second part. For a player who is in control of the ball while dribbling, the gather is defined as the point where a player does any one of the following. 1. Put two hands on the ball, or otherwise permits the ball to come to rest while he is in control of it. 2. Puts a hand under the ball and brings it to a pause. Or 3. Otherwise gains enough control of the ball to hold it, change hands, pass, shoot, or cradle it against his body. Okay. That's the definition of gather. And I think for the most part, the gather, from what I've seen, and I'm around basketball a lot from coaching my son basketball teams over the years. And a call that was always called was when a player, they're fighting for a loose ball, and a travel is called. No one has possession of the ball. That would be called the gather. Now, the one that was always infuriating to me, and I don't think I've seen it much in the NBA, is a loose ball on the floor and you dive on it. You clearly grab it. It's under your control, and you turn and twist it on the floor, and they call a traveling. Now, I understand why that's a travel because of the gather. Because the first definition of when a player receives a pass or gains possession of a loose ball, and if you can turn on the floor with that ball, then you have control of it. You know, so I'm kind of okay with that now, because I think most people are thinking that possession of it is that you clearly have it, and you really there's no dispute that the other person that's going for the ball has it. But in this case, is if you have complete control of it, and you can change hands, hold it, cradle it against the body, then that's a traveler. So I'm good with that now. Okay, good. That's been explained. Now, how does the gathering come into play in when you think about traveling? Okay. This is how it plays into that. A player who gathers the ball while progressing may A, take 2 steps and come into a stop, passing or shooting the ball, or B, if he has not yet dribbled, 1 step prior to releasing the ball to start his dribble. A player who gathers the ball while dribbling may take 2 steps and come into a stop, passing or shooting the ball. The first step occurs when a foot or both feet touch the floor after the player gathers the ball. Okay. So this is going to affect a lot of people. Just getting the ball, looking up the court, and taking 3 steps before putting the ball on the floor, that's not going to be called a travel. You only can take 1 step before that ball have to touch the floor. So we're going to see how many travels are being called this year, whether it be a significant increase because players refuse to change, or it's going to be a decrease because players see this now and take it seriously. And same way I feel with the tampering. If teams take this serious and they trying to be fair to the other teams and have fair competition, then a lot of the tampering will stop. Only thing now is I don't think it's going to stop, but I do think that how this information is being leaked to people like Woj, Agent Wojnarowski, or ESPN, Sham Charania of The Athletic, those people that are leaking that information to the media that's covering the NBA, it's going to be some tight lips now. A lot of this internal information is going to be between a small few, and even then, I think it still can get out. But I think teams are going to really be careful about who they allow certain information to get to. Oh man, this time it flew by real fast just talking about tampering and just traveling. I want to get into teams that have the most pressure going into the season and the player that has the most pressure